All right, hey, welcome to Swine Time. This is a podcast from the Pipestone Veterinary Services. It's intended for producers, and whether you're riding in the tractor cab right now, finishing up planting hopefully, or driving on the road or at home, it's an option for you to keep up to date on some current industry topics that if we know something, we want to share it with you. Our guest today is Brent Pepin.
Say that Spencer and I both have new haircuts, so you can't see, but
Good.
we
Yeah,
are
we're
looking
both-
fly.
Yeah, fly would be the key word there. Fly. Brent has some expertise in something I thought we'd like to share. Brent?
Thanks, Spencer. Like I said, my name's Dr. Pepin. Been here for about a year now. I worked for 4 years in Northeast Iowa before joining the Pipestone system here in Pipestone, Minnesota. And I have been working on our secure pork supply, mostly getting our system farms up to date, and now also helping individual farmers complete their own secure pork supply plans.
Okay, Brent, where are you from?
I'm originally from Upsala, Minnesota, so about
Okay.
half hour northwest of St. Cloud.
Okay, so tell me, what is secure pork supply? What is that? If nobody's heard of it out there in the audience, I'm aware of the name, but not much more.
Yeah, so Secure Pork Supply was started as a collaboration effort between government officials, Iowa State, Minnesota College of Veterinary Medicine, and Pork Board, prepare the industry in case we ever have a farm animal disease break in the United States. And the major farm animal disease of concern recently, of course, is African swine fever that we are hearing a lot of overseas. So this program is completely voluntary, but it is highly encouraged producers to have this in place so they have a plan.
Okay, one thing I've heard about this plan is that if you as a producer sign up and go through it and fill the paperwork out and file it and get on board, if we've got African swine fever, what it'll do is it'll allow you to get through the process quicker so that you can move pigs, wean pigs, feeder pigs, whatever. It'll allow you to resume normal operations more quickly than somebody that wasn't part of it. Is that said correctly?
Yeah, that's correct. So in the first event of a break, so if you're in an area where your neighbor or someone nearby did get diagnosed, we'll just say with African swine fever, since that's the one that's on everyone's mind, there's going to be a controlled area set up, and if you're in that controlled area is an area where all animal movements are going to be stopped, and for you to be able to resume normal pig movements, you're at that point going to have a secure pork supply in place to prove that you're taking additional steps to help protect your herd.
Okay, so why don't you take us through what that looks like? So Brent, if I'm a producer, and let's pretend that I am, sitting across the table from you, and I say, hey, I saw this thing, I'm convinced we need to do it, there's some benefit to it. For us to do this, to go through this process, what does that look like? What do I need to have in front of me, in my hands, to put on the table and to show you, to fill the paperwork out? What's needed to do that? What's the basic process? And when we finish it, does somebody got to sign this thing and send it off? Or, what is that, in broad strokes, the 1, 2, 3 of getting that done, what does it look like?
Yeah. So the biggest thing that if you do take away nothing else and do nothing else for this, the biggest thing is make sure that you have a premise identification number or a PIN number, and make sure you know what it is, because that's going to become vital for being able to track animal movements. The next thing is got to put together what they call an enhanced biosecurity plan. Now, most of your sites probably already have a biosecurity plan in place, but this one is, as it relates to secure pork supply, is it takes in the event of an outbreak, the additional steps that you're going to take to help protect your herd. Now, the third part about that's an important part of that plan that people probably find most confusing is what's called the premise map. Now, the premise map is an aerial view of your farm where you have various components marked off on it that are listed on the Secure Pork Supply website at securepork.org that you set up boundaries to help prevent disease from getting onto your farm.
Okay, so this map, what I'm thinking in my head is I would go to Google Maps that shows an aerial view of my farm where I can see the buildings. Then I'd print that off, and then we look at it, and then you got to draw some kind of fence around it or boundaries of where things occur. Is that what it looks like? Or?
And then you have to mark off the various components within that premise map that are required by the Secure Pork Supply website.
Now I'll tell you, the enhanced biosecurity plan, I'm curious about that. That's that sandwich between get your NAS Prem ID and get a picture of your map. You know, in the middle you got enhanced biosecurity plan. I'm guessing that's where the complicated stuff happens. Is well, what is that? And I don't know if you want to get deep into it, but
Yes.
is that just a written layout of how you do everything associated with farming related to the outside world?
Yep. So let's say, like, so it has to be a written plan, so it has to be written down, and you at least have to have it in digital form on your computer. And what that's going to include is additional steps you're going to take in the event of a foremanal disease break. So one example would be increased record keeping, where hopefully you're tracking as part of PQA, you're tracking visitors that come to your site with the visitor log. With the enhanced biosecurity plan, you're also going to want to track deliveries to your farm, who delivers it, when they get delivered, including feed deliveries. The other things you likely have in your plan is in the event that you can't move animals for a set period of time, what contingency plans you have in place in order to care for those animals. Another thing would be how you're going to have feed delivered in a way that's going to prevent disease from your neighbor being brought onto your site.
Okay, so these are things, this plan is not necessarily something you're doing every day, but it's something that you're ready to do in the event we have an issue. Then you default to these more enhanced day-to-day operative type functions you're doing.
Yeah, and I think when you go through this plan, you'll find out that you already are doing a lot of these basic things as part of your regular everyday biosecurity, but a few of them are going to be a little more intense if we ever do a foremanal disease break. So the things that you're going to put into place if we ever do have a foremanal disease diagnosed in the U.S.
So this is basically, if you want information on this from the creators, National Pork Board or the universities, there's a website, and I know you gave a name for that, securepork.org or something like that.
Yep, so securepork.org is the website. So all the information, Secure Pork Supply isn't a secret. All the information is right there online. Look through it. There's various videos on there too, any of them ranging from a very quick overhead summary of Secure Pork Supply, that's about 4.5 minutes, to some more in-depth videos that's closer to an hour.
Okay, so you could go there and find out more if you wanted, or the reason you're into it is so that our vet group is tuned up for handling this thing. So if you're using one of the vets at the Pipestone Vet Services group, it's going to come out, besides walking through the barn and maybe doing other things, what I'm imagining in my head, and tell me if I'm wrong, is pull us aside for this topic, say let's get this done too, spend some time on it, generate, it's like a template we probably use that you've got that lays out here's what we got to fill out. It's not overly complicated once you start getting into it. If you got to do one site or 20 sites, get them done. Does a vet have to sign off on this before you file it, or is it just, how does that work?
Yeah, so that part's a little confusing because each state is so different right now. There are 2 states that do have a registration type process, and that is Minnesota and South Dakota. And within those 2 states, so if you complete a Secure Pork Supply plan, if you have your regular veterinarian, he can look at your plan, and if he approves it or helps you create the plan so you know that it was made up to good standards, then he can go on and submit your plan, or sorry, not submit, but register your plan with those states to say that, just so the state knows in the event of foremanal disease that, hey, these people already took these additional steps, they already did some preparation, they have a plan that they can implement and put into place. So hopefully then you'll be able to resume to your normal continuity of business animal movements.
Okay, good. And that could be anyone in our group. You said your vet, or he or she, any one of our group would be qualified to come out and get this set up and done and basically finish this process so that in the event of something bad, any of those producers that did this are rocking and rolling right away. Just they're not stopped, at least not for long, when it comes to moving, because they've done this.
Yep. The whole goal of the plan is to help you resume to normal continuing of business as soon as possible in the event of a break. So we don't want you to be held up. So yeah, like Spencer said, all of us swine vets here at Pipestone are all trained to be able to help you complete the Secure Pork Supply plan for your site.
So this is a really good deal. There's no reason not to do it, I guess, is the final point of this, is just get it done. What's the reason that you wouldn't do this? There is no reason you wouldn't do it.
There is no reason, yeah.
Okay.
It's quick, or like I said, we can get it done. It's quick, it's simple, and it just gives you some reassurance that you're ready to go in case unthinkable does happen.
Good. All right. So producers out there, if you have not gone down this road of thought to get this done, strongly consider it. Ask your vet. Look on the internet. There's information out there, at least how to get started on it. But your vet should have all that information as well. That's it for this episode. Thanks to all the listeners. And if it's a farmer out in the field trying to finish planting, I hope you get done and hope it was a safe season for you. If it's our, thanks for tuning in to Swine Time Podcast. Stay tuned for next month's episode.